Good day. I hope you're doing well. This is Bahlala. We'll be going over the tutorial that was due today, or that is due today, that you should have submitted. So without wasting any time, let's jump straight into it. The focus is on chapters 6 and 7. You need to be aware of what those chapters entail. And yeah, it is important. This is really something that you need to practice, look at, because it is highly likely that it will be in the exam. So here we have the quantity of wheat produced, capital input, and labor input. Now, if the capital input of 16 units and the labor input of 25 units are used, you are required to show all your workings in answering the following. It's important that you do these calculations in steps, because what the marker will want to see is that you understand what is happening and you're not just dishing out the answer. So here in A, we're like, what is the marginal product of labor? And what is the marginal product of capital? You're required to just use what is given to you. So you have your 16 units of capital and your 25 units of labor, and then you have your production function over here, which is your quantity of wheat, defined by the following formula. So bear this in mind. Also understand the relationship between capital and labor, basically like how they're related. So since this is microeconomics, it's just important for you to, in your free time, have a look at how the two are related and how they play a role. Then if you have any questions relating on my microeconomics, you can just holler at me and then I'll do the rest in terms of discussion. But anyways, here we are. You should know this formula and find the marginal product of labor. So this is for 4 marks. This is your production function. Remember that you have these, so you're making use of these, and the focus is on labor, so 25 units. Right. So how you do this, you have to differentiate this formula, the production function. So you take 0.5 of labor, you multiply it by the 100. This stays, capital stays as K 0.5, and then here you have to minus by 1. So it's your standard calculus principles. You get half a mark for this, you get a mark for this, and you just calculate, you simplify, you substitute your inputs, and then you get your answer. The answer should be 40. Yeah, the answer should be 40. 200 divided by 5 equals 40. So that's what your answer is. Now, moving on to the next step, you're required to do the same with the marginal product of capital. Just note that you have everything that's been given to you. So it's how you calculate the answer, how you go about it. You have your marginal product of capital, and it is important that. All right, thank you. Oh, okay. 6:30, 7:00. Okay, noted. Thank you so much. All right, sorry about that. I'm in comments room 340, so yeah, I'm back now. With regards to this, the marginal product of capital, the focus now is on capital. So just pay attention to what's being differentiated. So here you minus 1 from capital, and then follow suit with what you do. So since the focus is on capital, you take 0.5 times it by 100 minus 1 on capital. Then this stays as is. Substitute and finish. Then you calculate, show us the steps. Then you get the answer of 62.5. Right? Right. Next one. Wheat is produced according to the following production function. Q, well, it's still the same, right? So this is what you're given. If the cost of, you can see the questions basically, just note that you are aware of what's being given to you. So the cost of capital, the cost of labor, and the units of capital and labor, like as they are, like 16 and 25 respectively, show your workings. What is the total cost of production, and what is the average cost of producing Q units of wheat, right? So let's move on. So your total cost of production is for 2 marks and is defined by the following formula, right? You need to know what each stands for. So you should know that your W stands for the cost of labor and your R stands for the cost of capital. Then H is your labor, then K is your capital. So substitute, and then you should get everything that you need. Please show your workings, because in the exam, you're going to be required to show, or in a test setting, in any setting, just when you practice, just be able to show that you understand everything fully, right? Then part 2B, you are required to find the average cost. So you need to know how to go about that. So you've already been given your total cost. Here you had to find your total output. So based on the production function, you substitute, you get your values. So Q equals 2000. That's your total output. You already calculated the total cost in the previous slide. You divide your total cost by total output and you get your average cost right there. So that's what it is. Then for the next one, you have the following wage rate, the following cost of capital. Find the slope of the isocost line. What is the slope of the isoquant and where is it tangent to the isocost line? Then if the marginal product of labor is used in this production at this point is 50 pencils per hour, then what is the marginal product of capital used? Let's look at each question, right? So you have your wage rate, you have your cost of capital. The slope is your wage rate divided by your cost of capital, and this is 100. Now, part B, where is the slope of the isoquant tangent to the isocost line? So this is based on your marginal rate of technical or transformative substitution. I forgot what it stands for, but it actually defines the relationship between labor and capital. So it's defined by MPH divided by MPK, your W over R. That's what it is. So you're supposed to know where it's tangent to the isocost line, and then the slope of the isocost is 100, as stated earlier. So bear that in mind. Just have a look at this. Cool. Now, moving right along. If the marginal product of labor used in production at this point is 50 pencils per hour, what is the marginal product of capital used? So as I've stated, MTRSHK is equal to MPH over MPK, which is this W over R, which has been calculated. And now you have to substitute standard mathematics 0.5. So follow every step here. If you're confused, just get back to me and let me know. Then for question 2, you have a company which produces fabrics. The wage rate is 100 an hour. The cost of capital is this. The machinery used is that, and the labor used is that. So notice the wording as well. Well, not the wording really, but just pay attention to all the details that are being given to you. So let's start with looking at the total cost of production and moving on to the average cost of production if we have a specific number of rolls, fabric rolls produced, right? So there's our information given to us, WH plus RK. Substitute, get your answers, follow the steps, show us the steps. Just have a look at that briefly so you can understand what's happening. Perfect. And then average cost of production, total cost of production divided by total output. So you have your 4,000, which was calculated here. So look at how everything is interrelated. You need to know how these things operate. So 4,000 divided by 20 gives you 200, and that 200 rand, and that there is your average cost of production. That is the end of the TUT exercise. You can just pause at certain points in the video if you feel that maybe I've gone a bit too fast, but that is it. Thank you.